So everybody can see, Prabhuji. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Mataji, you can see.
The font, Hare Krishna Mataji, just font a bit. Can you please make it larger?
So is it okay, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it's readable now.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. So today we are reading the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 11th chapter, and 31 words. The name of the chapter is Swayambhu Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Samyacharo sambhadram te pratipam shreyasam param srutena bhuyasa rajan agadena yatamayam. Samsayacharo sambhadram te pratipam shreyasam param srutena bhuyasa rajan agadena yatamayam. One more time. Samsayacharo sambhadram se pratipam shreyasam param srutena bhuyasa rajan agadena yatamayam. Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to recite this?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam, Prabhuji.
Can I read it?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Samayacharo sambhadram te pratipam shreyasam param srutena bhuyasha rajan agadena yata amayam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, can I try?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Sangyachara sambhadram te pratipam sreyasa param sutena bhusha rajan agodena yathamayam. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Samyacharo sambhadram te pratipam shreyasam param srutena bhuyasa rajan agodena yathamayam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So anybody wants to read sloka? So we'll go to synonyms. Anybody wants to read the synonyms? Mataji's, Prabhuji's.
Mataji, I'll read. Synonyms by Srila Prabhupada. Samyacha, just control. Rosam, anger. Bhadram, all good fortune. Te, to you. Pratipam, enemy. Shya, sham, off. All goodness. Param, the foremost. Shutena, by hearing. Bhuyasa, constantly. Rajan, my dear king. Agadena, by medicinal treatment. Yatha, yes. Amayan, disease. Translation, covered by Srila. Translation. My dear king, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune to you. Please follow my instruction. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So anybody wants to read the purport?
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Mataji, please.
Dhruva Maharaj was a liberated soul, and actually he was not angry with anyone. But because he was the ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep law and order in the state. His brother Uttama was without fault, yet he was killed by one of the yakshas. It was the duty of Dhruva Maharaj to kill the offender, life for life, because Dhruva was the king. When the challenge came, Dhruva Maharaj fought vehemently and punished the yaksha sufficiently. But anger is such that if one increases it, it increases unlimitedly. In order that Dhruva Maharaj's kingly anger not exceed the limit, Manu was kind enough to check his grandson. Dhruva Maharaj could understand the purpose of his grandfather, and he immediately stopped the fighting. The words Shrutena Bhuyasa, by constantly hearing, are very important in this verse. By constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. Srila Parishik Maharaj said that the constant hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is the panacea for all material diseases. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. By hearing, one can always remain in equilibrium, and thus his progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. Dhruva Maharaj becoming angry with the miscreants was quite appropriate. There is a short story in this connection about a snake who became a devotee upon instruction by Narada, who instructed him not to bite anymore. Since ordinarily a snake business is to fatally bite other living entities, as a devotee, he was forbidden to do so. Unfortunately, people took advantage of this non-violence on the part of the snake, especially the children, who began to throw stones at him. He did not bite anyone, however, because it was the instruction of his spiritual master. After a while, when the snake met his spiritual master Narada, he complained, "I've given up the bad habit of biting innocent living entities, but they are mistreating me by throwing stones at me." Upon hearing this, Narada Muni instructed him, "Don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you were going to bite. Then they will go away." Similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics. But in the common world, when there is mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Om Adhyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmiltam Yena Tasmai Sri Rave Namaha. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Bhagavati Sloki. Sorry. Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiyate Nashtapraya Subhadresu Jam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistik Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Krupaktam Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. So in this verse, so specifically the Swayambhu Manu is instructing how to control the anger, and also is giving the remedy how to control the anger also. We have been hearing this episode since a few weeks about how he is instructing the Dhruva Maharaj. So when Dhruva Maharaj was attacked to Yakshas, he was killing discriminately. That means he is killing everyone, because this is fault of one Yakshas, but he is killing so many Yakshas. And he is showing his anger in the wrong direction. So as a king, it is said in this part what Prabhupada explained, this is the duty of king. So we have to face the challenges, and you have to annihilate the miscreants also, because he killed his brother, and it is a duty to kill the offender. And also yesterday's class, Krishna Prabhuji was explaining, so this all he bewildered because of the concepts of I and mine. So that is the root cause for doing all the attachment and all these sinful reactions. And also yesterday we discussed that by rendering devotion service, by reviving our constitutional position, we can get rid of these false ego, false concepts. And in today's words, it is explaining that. So I will go to translation one more time. My dear king, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as a medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. So this is a very important words where we can see the specific instruction how to control the anger. That is the enemy for our spiritual realization. This is very important aspect in our devotion actually. And in today's words, so I'm going to discuss the topics in three different ways. Here, in the translation, it is said treatment for disease. First, we see what is our disease. What are the symptoms of the disease? In the second step, I'm going to explain what is the root cause of anger. What is the reason for this anger? And also in the third step, I'm going to explain how to check our anger. So I have been hearing so many remedies to control the anger from previous acharyas, from purports of Prabhupada and our gurus also. We are listening all these remedies, solutions to control our senses, mind, anger, everything. And first of all, I would like to ask some questions. What is the disease means? What is our actual disease? Anybody want to contribute?
Material entanglement, Mataji.
Okay. Specifically, Prabhuji, material entanglement.
This
Okay.
means we are always conditioned.
Yes.
We are always in conditioned state.
Yes.
Forgetfulness of Krishna.
Yes. Forgetful for Krishna. We are conditioned. Yes. Anybody else?
Prabhu, Mataji, this is also, we want to rule over, forgetting Krishna, we want to be Lord of the things.
Yes. We want to be proprietor. So we forgot Krishna. So we want to land over this land and we want to enjoy also. Yeah. Yes. Anything else?
False ego, Mataji. False ego.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, false ego. Because of that, yeah, yesterday's class also we discussed that is false ego, I and mine. So that is these are the symptoms for our disease actually. So actually, Prabhupada said, so we came here in this material world. We have to think it is a jail actually. So what we have to do? We have to get rid of this jail, to get rid of these all symptoms. So that is the one thing. And what are the 6 symptoms? Anybody knows that 6 opposite factors by which we bewilder and we do so many sinful actions and we forget everything. So what are those 6 enemies? Anybody wants to share?
Mataji, it is probably you are referring to, I'm not sure, you were referring to 263 and 262 and 64 on Bhagavad Gita. Deote Vishwan Pungsha Sangosteshu Pajayate, Samrat Sujayate Kamo, Kamat Krodho Vijayate, Krodhat Bhabuti Shanmo, Shanmo Asriti Vigram, Siddhi Vamshat Buddhinasho, Buddhinashat Pranashat.
Yeah, so that is there, Prabhuji. So the root cause for this anger and all these, so Krishna explained very nicely. Before that, I want to know what are the opposing factors. So by which we are getting bewilderment. So exactly, you are right. So those are the factors. Lust, greed, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. So these are the 6 opposing factors. So because of this, we are getting entangled, as Prabhuji said. So we are material entanglement. Because of these 6 urges, we couldn't control our mind. We couldn't control our senses. That's why we are getting bewilderment. So first of all, we have to control. So in Rupa Goswami, in Nectar of Instruction, he advises us, we have to control the urges first. How we control? We can control our urges by rendering the devotional service, by means of rendering devotional service. So this is our conditional life. Prabhupada explained us we have to get rid of this conditional life. So we have to think this is a temporary. So this is like a rent house. We have to vacate it. And also there is a short story regarding this. I just want to narrate that. There is a, in the kingdom, one time king wants to see all the prisoners in the jail. So he declared that, so whatever they want, I will give. So let them desire for something, let them ask whatever they want. I fulfill their desires. So this day, so and so day, I am coming to this prison and I'll fulfill their desires. So he went to all the prisoners and he went there and they received king, and one by one, they are asking their desires. So they are in the jail actually, but they are asking very petty things. That means, so my glass is not broken, I want new glass. My plate is broken, so I want new plate. I want a blanket, it is too cold. I want clothes. So these small things they are asking. So they did understand they are in the jail. So they want to make it comforts. So one wise, one prisoner, he was there. So he was sitting at a distance. He is not asking anything. So king called him. So why you are not asking anything? So I'm here to help you. I'm here to give whatever you want. Why you are not asking? That person said, so I want to get rid of this jail. Can you do that for me? So king was surprised. See his intelligence. He is using his intelligence in a proper way. So he wants to get rid of the jail, whether it is first class, second class, third class, whatever, it is a jail. So nowadays, these politicians, they go to jail and they are living so luxuriously. That means with so many facilities. That is not a concept. We have to get rid of this material world. It is full of these 6 opposing factors: lust, greed, anger, and jealous, envious, false ego. So we have to overcome this. So Krishna says, so this is because of illusory energy of Krishna. We have to get rid of this illusory energy by surrendering Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Krishna says, Devi is a Gunamaya, Mama Maya Duratya, Mama Eva Ye Prapatyante, Mama Eva Prapatyante, Maya Etam Tarantite. So you have to surrender to me, then only you can overcome this Maya, illusory energy. So that is the disease actually. We are facing the disease. So that is the symptoms. So we have to get rid of those symptoms. And especially in this verse, so Swayambhu Manu is instructing Dhruva Maharaj, so to get rid of the anger. So it is not good for you to have a good fortune ahead. So you are a great devotee. So you should not do like this. You should not get anger. Once you get anger, it continuously increases. It never stops. That's where all these politics happening, and that's where these killings also happening. So many sinful actions are happening. Especially we can see in the monarchy, king for the kingdom. So somebody, ministers and the other other persons in the kingdom, they want to become king, they kill the kings and they take that position. Even it is happening in the present society. The politicians, they want to get that position, they're killing people and they're getting that position. Not only in the politics, it is happening in the families also. So for the properties, they are fighting and they are killing each other, and these things are happening because of the desire. So in the next step, we discuss what are the reasons for the anger, why it is happening. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 2.62, as Prabhuji mentioned, Jhayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangate Jayate, Sangha Sangayate, Kama Krodho Vijayate. So the lust is the root cause for all these. So whenever you get lust for this, desire for this, so you work so hard to fulfill that one. It becomes attachment. Suppose you want to buy a car, what happens? You work so hard to get the money. If you want to build a house, you accumulate money to build a house. You work day and night so hardly. So that means you get attached to that. I want to get house at any cost. I want to get a car at any cost. So then if it is not happens, what happens? You get frustrated. In that frustration, you get anger. So krodhat bhava sammoha shruti vibramaha. Shruti vibramso buddhinasa pranasyati. So the other consequences also Krishna explained in 2.63. What happens when the anger increases? You bewildered. Smriti Brahmsa. And then Buddhinasa, Smriti Brahmsa, Buddhinasa. Then what happened? You lose your consciousness, lose your memory. So you don't have any discrimination whether you are doing good or bad. So whatever you think you do, that is the root cause for the sinful actions, that anger. So anger, we have to control our anger. And in this connection, so Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion, he said, Prapanchikatiya buddhiya harisambandha vastuna mumukshubihi parityago vairagyam palgu kachyate. So he explained so nicely in this verse, what is that? So the devotees, so who are having the knowledge of Lord, they understand how to offer everything to Lord. And the impersonalists, they don't know how to utilize their sources in the service of Lord. They are wasting everything. So actually, so he is giving the one more example in that purport. Prabhupada explains, if you, the impersonalists, they think there is no person, there is no Lord. That's why they did no need to offer. So that's why they don't go the process of offering and eat. And there is no person who is going to eat it. They think like that. And the devotees, they know very well, there is a person, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchidananda Vigraha, absolute truth. So he can see, he can eat, he can do actions. And we have to offer as a gratitude. And he does like this. So we have to understand. So in which way we have to utilize our knowledge in the service of Lord. And the bewilderment is common here. So if you see the Dhruva Maharaj, he just bewildered by illusory energy. So he's thinking he's my brother. They killed my brother. I have to take a revenge. He's in the bodily platform. So in the same way, there are some other instances in our Puranas and scriptures. They got bewildered by Maya, illusory energy. Can you give some more examples? Anybody wants to share? So many personalities also bewildered. They get bewilderment sometimes, and they do. They fall under the illusory energy.
Durvasa Muni Mataji.
Yes, Durvasa Muni. Yes,
Ashwatthama.
Ambarish Maharaj.
Ambarish Maharaj.
Ashwatthama.
Yeah, Aswadhama also. Yes, Prabhuji.
Also Arjun Maharaj.
Sorry,
Arjun Maharaj.
Arjuna. Yes, got bewildered. And anybody else?
So very much,
Sorry, Prabhuji.
so very Muni who was you are meditating under the water.
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, that is also yeah. So these are examples. They got bewildered, And one more example I can give, Parikshit Maharaj. Even though he's a great devotee of Lord, so he's a king. So at that moment, he thought, I'm a king. Nobody is respecting me. So again here the bodily concept, I and mine. They want respect. So that's why he saw the dead snake and he put under the neck of that sage. So he got the curse. In this way, there are so many instances, even though they are devotees, there are chances to fall down the illusory energy. So always we have to be caution so that we will be on the right path. So here we can see one more thing. The Yamunacharya also explained. He said that because I am controlling the senses, that means I got the higher taste. Because I got the higher taste, I could able to control the senses. Otherwise, it is impossible. There is no other way to control the senses unless you engage your senses in the service of Lord. So unless you are, because see, there is a Paramatma inside our hearts. So we have to invite Lord in our hearts. How can we invite Lord in our hearts? This is very important to know. So suppose you are doing any function, any festival, so any abhishekam at your home, what you are going to do at the beginning? Anybody wants to say? Suppose you are doing abhishekam or festival, or doing katha, everything. So what you are going to do at the beginning?
Mangalacharan.
Mangalacharan invocation prayers.
Yeah, for the purification. Yes. So and in the same way, so first you clean the premises outside also. So you clean the house. You want to keep the house so clean because guests are coming, and so you feel so they are representative of Lord. So you have to honor them. In the same way, so we clean outside. For the cleaning inside, we do prayers, invocation prayers also to get the purification. Then we do all our auspicious things. In the same way, so if you are inviting Lord inside our heart, so you have to keep your heart so clean. If the heart is with all these opposing factors, you cannot invite Lord. So first of all, you have to eliminate all these impurities. Here, the Parikshit Maharaj also saying in this purport, so the hearing is very, very important. So what is that? So in this verse, it is called Srutena Bhusaya. That means you have to hear constantly, not one day or 2 days. So it's a lifelong process. You have to hear every day. That's why Prabhupada introduced these Bhagavatam classes and Bhagavad Gita classes so that they hear constantly and they become purified. So now coming to the third step, how to check our anger. So that is important. So here is in this purport, Swayambhu Manu is giving instruction to Dhruva Maharaj how to control the anger by constant hearing. That is very, very important. That is called mentoring. So even if you see the devotees in the association, always they are connected with one mentor, one Siksha Guru or Guru. Why? They have a fear of fall down. I should not fall down from the devotion service. And the devotees, before they give the initiation, before they give the Diksha, and after they get the Diksha also, always they are supervised by temple authorities. Why? They are checking all the times whether they are doing good or not. It is always good you take some suggestions, guidelines from the seniors and superior persons. So why? So have to be on the right path. In the same way, here also Dhruva Maharaj is a liberated person. Why he is liberated person? Because he saw the Lord at the age of 5 years. He got already liberated. But as a king, he is doing his dharma, Kshatriya dharma. He's following the dharma. But so his grandfather is so compassionate towards Dhruva Maharaj. He wants to check his anger. So if the anger is there, there is no spiritual advancement. Even though you are doing so much austerities, there is no use. Like Durvasa Muni. So he is a great sage. But because of anger, he couldn't control the senses. And so he was trying to shout at Ambarish Maharaj. So that is not good for his devotion. The same way, we have to control our anger in the path of spiritual realization. So before we were discussing the reasons for the conditioned life. So all these factors will be revived once you checked by the superior personalities and if you are rendering service. So we have to understand what is our constitutional position, Sanatana Dharma. Our Sanatana Dharma is rendering loving devotional service to the Lord. We have to understand, we have to servants of Lord. So that is very important. By understanding that in the Bhagavad Gita also, 6th chapter, Krishna says that Arjuna asked Krishna how to control mind and senses. So you are saying this Dhyana Yoga meditation, this is okay. But it is very difficult for me to control the mind, do the Dhyana Yoga. So Arjuna is saying he is from royal family, he is a devotee of Lord with lots of facilities. He is saying that word, but it is very difficult. Even we control the wind, but we cannot control the mind. What to speak of us? We are in the material world, so with full of so many attachments. How to come out of this? It's very difficult. It is very difficult to control the mind. But Krishna says that Apyasayanata Kauntaya, Vairagyanata Shruti. That means by practice and detachment, you have to practice detachment. Then slowly you come to that level. So you can control the anger. So that's why Prabhupada, he has given these all facilities. That means all these processes to control the mind. There are so many processes in the ISKCON. So there is a book distribution, there is a prasadam distribution, there is a preaching program, chanting programs, so that we can involve in these processes and we can control our mind. And also I want to tell one more point from Nectar of Devotion. Srila Rupa Swami says there are two concepts he is giving for us. So you should have a greed. The greed should be diverted towards Lord. That is, those two concepts are Laulyam and Lalasamai. Today I want to explain a little bit more about this. What is Laulyam? Laulyam means greediness. Actually, it is greediness, but it is entirely different from material greediness. So in the material world, we are greedy for so many things. Greedy for so many things means for the houses, for the family attachments, for the enjoyment, for the food. So many. So I want this, I want this, I want this. The greediness, over and over. So here this greed is completely different. So that is excessive eagerness for serving Lord. You should have that greeding. So excessive greediness. That means, so I want to do service for the Lord without any motive. So you should not doing for the pleasure of yourself, for your sense gratification. You are doing it for pleasure of Lord. So that is, that greediness is entirely different. Here, Rupa Goswami explaining here, this greediness, Laulyam, is the pass for to enter. It's like a visa to enter into the kingdom of Lord. So that eligibility you have to get. Instead of greedy for mundane things and getting anger for petty things, so you should greedy for higher taste to attain the devotional service. And that is one point. And what is Lalasamai? Lalasamai. So we always see here this Lalasamai is entirely different from mundane Lalasamai. In the Lalasamai, so Lalasamai means getting perfection. We have to understand, we have to use your intelligence in what way we have to get perfect, whether it is for material perfectness or spiritual perfectness. We have to utilize our intelligence for this understanding. So Lalasamaya means getting perfectness, but we are hankering to get the perfectness in our day-to-day life, to become a perfect position. Perfect means perfect in your job assignments, and perfect father, perfect mother, perfect child. So we are using that concept in other ways in the material world. So anybody can give some more examples where you want to get perfect in the material world? We are trying to get perfect. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, it's continuous practice.
So in the material world, what else we are trying to get perfect other than spiritual? We are trying other ways. What are the other ways to get the perfect in the jobs, to get perfect in the household affairs? So many other things. Yes. So actually Lalasamai means getting perfectness in the service of Lord. So desiring for the perfectional stage. What is the perfectional stage? Understanding the Lord as a supreme, and understanding you are not a body, you are a soul, and your connection with Lord is like a servant. You are the eternal servant of Lord, and reviving our Sanatana Dharma. That is the perfection. So that concept you have to be there. So these Laulyam and Lalasamai, so if you practice these two principles, so you can utilize your senses in the proper way. Instead of using them in the material progress, you can use them in the spiritual progress. So here also there is a story narrated by Prabhupada in this purport. Devotees, they should use their intelligence, their anger in the proper way. Suppose if you take the Hanuman, so he got so angry on Ravana. So he is in the service of Lord. So he is his anger in the proper way. So he burned the Lanka. So that means he is showing his anger in the service of Lord. In the same way, Arjuna also, he was so angry. So he showed his anger in the fighting, so in the Kurukshetra war. So in that way, he was pleasing Lord. In the same way, Hanuman also pleased Lord Ramachandra. So the thing, Rupa Goswami is, you have a desires, you have urges, but use them in the service of Lord. Even anger, even greediness, even desires. You should have a desire to serve Lord. So you should have a greediness. So in the service of Lord. So you should have a lalasamai. That means desiring to get perfect. I want to get perfect more. I want to get perfect more. So in this age, so many ladies and sometimes gents also, they just want to make themselves so beautiful, so everybody can attract. So in that way, they use so many cosmetics. That means they want themselves to be perfect in expressing themselves, to show others how they are, how their lifestyle. They want to show their lifestyles in such a way so that they want to show the status in the lifestyle. So that is not the correct. So you can use that Laulyam Lalasamai in the opposite way, in the progress of spiritual journey to get the perfectness. What is perfectness? Reviving our constitutional position and reviving, that means you understanding Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Jivera Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. We have to understand that concept. And also the story here, Narada Muni, he was instructed one snake was biting everyone. So he was instructed by Narada Muni not to bite. So from that time, that snake stopped biting. But they took the advantage of hitting him and throwing stones. But Narada Muni said, so I didn't tell that. So you should stop. But still you can expand your hood. You can make them fear, but should not bite. So you can do that. So in the same way, so devotees, they have a very good qualities, characters. They want to be non-violent. But if time comes, for a time being, they have to act in such a way that the miscreants, they should not do any harm to them. So here Manu, his Swayambhu Manu also advising Dhruva Maharaj. So you can stop your anger. No need to fight further. No need to get the anger again and again. You can stop it. So our anger should be checked. Our anger should be stopped somewhere after realization. So in the same way, devotees also, they can show their anger for a time being in order to show them we are not here, we are not like cowards. So we can do anything. That's what Prabhupada also instructed all the devotees. You cannot sit like a cowards. When time comes, you have to revolt and show your anger in the process of devotion service. That is the baseline. That is the principle. So for the service of the Lord, you can use all your these factors, service of Lord. There is no problem. But if you are using these factors in the sense, in your gratification of senses, so it will go vain. There is no use. So before you are inviting Lord into your heart, you have to clean you all these enemies by rendering service, by chanting. There is a Navavida Bhakti. So that is a process is given by scriptures to advance in our spiritual journey. So Navavidya Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Vandanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also said that in 6.34 words, he says that hearing is very important. By Prabhupada explains in the purport, hearing is very important. What happens by hearing? Sridhana will say, here also it is mentioned, the Sravanam is so important so that you will be relieved from the attachment by hearing. So by hearing through the ears, it goes into your heart and it cleanses the heart. And all these enemies will go away. Then you understand the reality, what is the absolute truth. So then you can come to know that he is the proprietor. Bhaktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvalokam Maheswaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Tvamam Santiruchati. So he is the supreme controller. He is the well-wisher of all living entities. He is the supreme proprietor. We are not the proprietors. So we come to that point by hearing. So hearing is so powerful. So we can see the Lord through the ears, actually not with the eyes. So what happens when you hear, it goes into heart, it cleanses the heart, then you can understand the reality. He is the Supreme Personality of God. I am not the enjoyer. He is the enjoyer. When you pour the water to the roots, automatically all that water goes to all the parts of the plant. No need to pour the water to each and everything. The same way, you come to know that he is the proprietor. No one is the proprietor. No one is the supreme, superior than Lord. He is the enjoyer. He is the ultimate beneficiary of all living entities. He is the, so if you know that concept, so you cannot go for these, you will not fall into these 6 enemies, then you get pure understanding of Lord. So rendering service is so important. By that we can understand Lord and we can revive our constitution position. And the bodily concept, before in the conditioned, the symptoms of the disease we have discussed, forgetfulness of the Lord and lots of enjoyment and lots of sense gratification, and I want to land it over, all these symptoms are there. By rendering the service, when you are checked by your mentor, so what happens, all these will be in the positive ways. First of all, we have discussed forgetfulness. So by rendering service, by checking with the superior persons, so what we can understand, we can revive our constitutional position. I am not a body, I am a soul, I am a servant of Lord. So that will be checked. And what is the other thing, bodily concept of life gradually turns to spiritual concept of life. So we do everything for the Lord. When you understand He is the proprietor, so the enjoyment tendency gradually decreases. That means we start thinking to how to please Lord instead of pleasing our senses. That is the central point of the Bhagavad Gita. In the introduction, Prabhupada says, this is the central point. You should know how to please Lord, not please yourself. So we come to know that point. Enjoyment for the Lord. We are not the enjoyers. And all these lust, greed, desire, hate, everything, so we can use in the service of Lord. So lust, greed, egoness, false ego, that means mada, matsaram, jealous. All these symptoms will go away gradually. So medicinal treatment, and also their word in the translation, it is a treatment for disease. So that is so significant here. So what treatment we are taking for our disease? We understood what are the symptoms for the disease. Now we have to understand what is the treatment. Treatment for this diseased condition is reviving our constitutional position and also understanding Lord, and by rendering loving devotional service. For that, Swayambhu Manu is advising Dhruva Maharaj to check his anger and other factors. So hearing is so important. So by hearing, everything will be controlled. So gradually that bodily concept of life turns to a spiritual concept of life. And we also discussed about Laulyam and Lalasamaya. So in order to advance in the spiritual life, you can use these concepts instead of our sense gratification for the pleasing of Lord. So I'll stop here. If you have any concepts, any understandings, any comments, if you want to add anything, you can add. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for a very wonderful class. One thing you mentioned in passing was that anger can also be used in the service of the Lord. We see Hanumanji being very angry. Ram was a mistreatment of Mata Sita. So his quality can be used, but has to be used under the guidance of the Lord.
Yes, yes.
Yes. That's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And even Laulyam Lalasamaya also you can use the service of Lord. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for a very, very nice talk this morning. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Wonderful class, very informative.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji, for the nice class. Very informative. Not only informative, but how we can mold our day-to-day life for the service of the Lord. We have given much information from this, and if we follow it, we can progress. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to share anything? Otherwise,
Yes, Mataji. One more point is that Maharaj Manu has to tell Dhruva Maharaj, please follow this instruction. So, I mean, after, because Dhruva Maharaj was getting excessively angry, so he is advising. So in our case, sometimes the spiritual master also advises, please do not do this, but sometimes the devotees or disciple go overboard.
yes,
So it's a very nice instruction, so coming from the high authority.
yes,
So,
yes. That's why, yeah, that's why. So even though he is a advanced devotee, it has to be checked by superior authorities all the times. Yeah, so he has to take instructions from them. If they say follow this, they have to follow it. In that way, we get advancement. In that following instruction is very important. Even Prabhupada says, follow my instructions, read my books, follow my instructions. In that way, you can advance. It is an easy process, following. So, and also Prabhupada says you cannot imitate, but you have to follow. So that is also important. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else got any points, realization, reflection to share? We still got a few minutes. Doesn't appear to be so, Mataji. So we'll end here. Thank you very much, Mataji, coming for this morning, sharing your wonderful class in this very important subject of controlling the anger and taking instructions from the superior authority. Thank you, Mataji. Our great Savitri Mataji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. God Bhakti, God Family Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kapsa Kanavesha, Pas in the Vecha, Atitana Pavlivyo, Vishnavibyo,
And the cultivation.
God Bhakti, God Family Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.